Celebrate the pioneer who introduced us to the natural world on the BBC. Attenborough's 60 Years in the Wild continues. Friday at 9 on BBC Two.
A terrifying house fire spreads to the rest of the terrace. 5 fire brigades on call for real rescues in 45 minutes on BBC Two. After today's Weakest Link.
Of the 9 contestants preparing for today's show, only one will take home prize money of up to £10,000. The rest of the team will leave with nothing, as one by one they're voted off as the weakest link.
Welcome to the Weakest Link. Any of the 9 people in the studio here today could win up to £10,000. They don't know each other. However, if they want the prize money, they'll have to work as a team. But 8 of them will leave with nothing, as round by round we lose the player voted the weakest link. Let's meet the team.
My name's Lee, I'm 24 years old, I come from Leeds and I work for a telecommunications company.
My name is Carol, I'm 57 from Banbury in Oxfordshire and I'm a practice nurse.
My name is Ian, I'm 60 years of age, I come from Essex and I'm retired sales manager.
My name is Davina, I'm 37 years old, I live in Shropshire and I work for a bank.
I'm Andrew, I'm 40 from Maidstone, Kent, and I'm a test engineer.
I'm Rachel, I'm 26, I'm from Bristol, and I'm an alumni officer with King's College London.
My name's Philip, I'm 31, I live in Guildford, and I'm an actor and tour guide.
My name is Sue, I'm 33 years old, I'm from Horsham in West Sussex, and I'm an airline sales agent.
I'm Mike, I'm 55 years old, I'm from Solihull, I'm a senior building surveyor for a major pub company.
Now, the rules in each round, the aim is to answer enough questions correctly to reach your £1,000 target within the time limit. The fastest way is to create a chain of 9 correct answers. Get your question wrong and you break the chain and lose all the money in that chain. But if you say bank before the question is asked, the money is safe. However, you start a new chain from scratch. Remember, at the end of the round, only money that has been banked can be taken forward. In round 1, there are 3 minutes on the clock. We'll start with the person whose name is first alphabetically. That's you, Andrew. Let's play the weakest link. The first question is for £20. Start the clock. Andrew, in nature, elephant tusks are made of which substance?
Ivory.
Correct. Rachel, in cricket, how many runs is the umpire signalling when he holds both hands above his head? 4 or 6?
6.
Correct. Philip, the Dartford Tunnel runs under which English river?
The Thames.
Correct. Sue, the actor Martin Kemp, who plays Steve Owen in EastEnders, was previously a member of which pop band?
Spandau Ballet.
Correct. Mike, which vehicle with 2 handles and 2 legs at the rear is used by gardeners to transport material from one place to another?
Wheelbarrow.
Correct. Lee, in Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, in which city do the Montagues and Capulets live, Verona or Venice?
Verona.
Correct. Carol, circus performances usually occur in a large tent known as the Big What?
Top.
Correct. Ian.
Bang.
In the animal kingdom, what sea is a lizard with the ability to change its skin colour in response to its environment?
Iguana.
No. Chameleon. Davina, in fashion, on which part of the body would brogues be worn?
Feet.
Correct. Andrew, in the tale of the Arabian Nights, where does Aladdin find the lamp, in a cave or up a tree?
In a cave.
Correct. Rachel, in the 1989 film Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, which Scottish actor played Professor Henry Jones Sr.?
Sean Connery.
Correct. Philip, in 1856, Queen Victoria instigated which military award for bravery?
Victoria Cross.
Correct. Sue, in the UK, it is illegal to sell national lottery tickets to someone under what age?
16.
Correct. Mike, in football, which player scored a hat-trick for England against Germany in the World Cup qualifier in Munich in September 2001?
Michael Owen.
Correct. Lee, in which US TV sitcom sitcom did Julia Roberts make a guest appearance as the character Susie Moss?
Friends.
Correct, Carol.
Bank.
In the Douglas Adams book, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which planet was demolished to make way for a hyperspace bypass, Mars or Earth?
Mars.
No, Earth. Ian, in biology, what S is a spontaneous activity undertaken by glands in the skin when the body is hot and needs to cool down?
Sweat.
Sweat or sweating, I'll accept. Davina,
Bank.
in the animal kingdom, what is a female pig called?
Sow.
Correct, Andrew. In the 1963 film The Pink Panther, which actor played Inspector Clouseau?
Peter Sellers.
Correct, Rachel. In geography, the Union of States bordering Saudi Arabia are known as the United Arab what?
Emirates.
Correct, Philip.
Bank.
Okay, you've reached and banked your £1,000 target, and that money will go through to the next round. But one of you will not, who is not up to the standard of the rest of the team. It's time to vote off the weakest link.
In the first round, the strongest link is Rachel. The statistics show that Carol is the weakest link, whilst Ian banked the most money for the team. However, will the team pick up on these facts so early in the game?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Ian.
Ian.
Philip.
Ian.
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 Andrew, remind me what you do.
I'm a test engineer.
What do you test?
Test concrete foundations.
How do you test them?
I construct a frame above the frames, and and I apply a force to it, which you're doing to me.
And you do that all day, do you?
All day long.
Why have you voted for Ian?
I think he was the weakest link. We were on a good run, and he broke it, and then he lost a silly question, chameleon iguana.
Philip, what do you do?
I'm an actor and tour guide.
Why Ian?
He was the weakest link. The other person who got any questions wrong was Carol, but I think she's going to be of more benefit to us later on.
What do you do, Lee?
I work for a telecommunications company.
Do you?
Indeed, yes.
Why have you voted Ian off?
Because I suppose the aim of the game, right, is to get as much money and not get anything wrong, so therefore I consider Ian a little bit of a liability.
Did you think he was the weakest link?
Yes.
Of course he wasn't, was he, Carol?
I knew I got one wrong. I did some banking.
But statistically, you were the worst player.
Gaw. I got a lot to answer for.
Where are you from?
Banbury in Oxfordshire.
You don't sound as if you're from Banbury in Oxfordshire.
26 years ago, Annie, I moved from New Jersey.
New Jersey? Okay. Statistically, Carol was the worst player, but it's votes that count. Unanimously. With 8 votes, Ian, the team have voted you the weakest link. Goodbye.
It's very disappointing to be voted off first time round, especially when I've helped whoever finally wins with £600 of their money. I'll send them an invoice, I think.
Round 2, team. You've won £1,000 so far. There are 8 of you left. We are now taking 10 seconds off the clock. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Rachel. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Rachel, in the Charles Dickens novel Dombey and Son, what is the first name of Mr. Dombey, Paul or John? Paul. Correct. Philip, who collaborated with lyricist Oscar Hammerstein on the musical The King and I?
Rogers.
Correct. Sue, the Scottish town of St Andrews is known internationally for its links with which sport?
Golf.
Correct. Mike, which British wild flower in the same family as the tomato and the potato can be black, woody or deadly?
Carrot.
No. Nightshade. Lee, in film, what kind of institution is St Trinian's?
It's a school.
Correct. Carol, in chemistry, along with protons and neutrons, what E are the elementary particles that make up an atom?
Electrons.
Correct. Davina,
Bank.
in which 1970s TV sitcom did Frances de la Tour play the character Miss Jones?
Rising Dam.
Correct. Andrew, in history, which engineer was responsible for the building of the Caledonian Canal? Thomas Telford or Robert Stevenson?
Thomas Telford.
Correct. Rachel. In the 2001 general election, which Liberal Democrat MP held his seat in Ross Sky and Inverness West?
Charles Kennedy.
Correct. Philip.
Bank.
In a standard game of darts, if a player needs 26 and throws a double 12, what double must he throw to finish?
1.
Correct. Sue. Which motorway connects London and Cardiff?
M6.
No, the M4. Mike. In the animal kingdom, which of these is not a crustacean? Crayfish, crab or carp?
Carp.
Correct. Lee. Which synthetic material was invented by Leo Baekeland in 1909?
Bakelite.
Correct. Carol. Of which event in 1969 did President Richard Nixon say, "This is the greatest week in the history of the world since the creation"?
The ending of the war in Vietnam.
No, the moon landing. Davina. In religion, what G was the name of the angel who appeared to Muhammad commanding him to preach Islam?
Gabriel.
Correct. Andrew. In cricket, Steve Waugh captained which country against England in 2001?
Australia.
Correct. Rachel. Which 16th century English adventurer was knighted on the deck of his ship, the Golden Hind?
Sir Walter Raleigh.
No, Francis Drake. Philip. In nature, what is a bandy-bandy, a bird or a snake?
A bird.
A snake. Sue. In the 1996 remake of the film The Nutty Professor, which actor played the title role?
Eddie Murphy.
Correct. Mike. In terms of population, what D is the 4th largest city in Scotland?
Dundee.
Correct. Lee. In which 1980s TV show did Lee Majors play the bounty hunter stuntman Colt Seavers?
The Fall Guy.
Correct. Carol.
Bank.
Which physicist announced his theory of special relativity in 1905?
Einstein.
Correct. Davina. Time is up. And not nearly so impressive in that round, team. You banked an embarrassingly low £320. Who needs to be retired? Who makes a dinosaur look bright? Whose last brain cell died of loneliness? It's time to vote off the weakest link.
With the most correct answers, Lee is the strongest link in this round. Mike is statistically the weakest link, but will this be spotted by the team?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Mike.
Mike.
Philip.
Sue.
Mike.
Carol.
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 We have a tie team. Mike and Carol, 3 votes each. Carol, how long have you been here in this country?
26 years.
So where were you when the Vietnam War finished?
For shame.
Why Mike?
Mike in a similar position as myself. It was a vegetable question, Annie.
The vegetable question.
It was.
Mike, tell us about this British wild flower that's called a carrot.
Well, I got quite flowery tops in my garden then.
Why Carol?
Most famous date in the 20th century, man on the moon.
Right, well, when the vote is tied, the strongest link has to cast the deciding vote. Lee, your choice is between Mike and Carol. You can change your mind if you wish.
Mike goes. Sorry, Mike.
Why?
He actually got the question wrong. I mean, so did Carol. I think it may actually be because I'm stood opposite him and it's the first name I saw.
Right. That's the end of it, Mike. The carrot lives on as the British wildflower only in your garden. You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
I'm so disappointed to be voted off so early in the round of Weakest Link. I waited a long time to appear on this programme. I think Carol will get voted off in the next round. For an American to have got the question wrong about the man on the moon was appalling.
Round 3, you've won £1,320 so far out of a possible 2,000. You are down to 7 players. You've lost Ian and you've lost Mike. We are taking another 10 seconds off your time. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round, that's Lee. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Lee. In pop music, which Scottish comedy duo released the 1981 single Fan Dabby Dozy?
The Crankies.
Correct, Carol. In the musical scale that begins do, re, mi, which note follows mi?
Fa.
Correct, Davina.
Bank.
According to legend, which English king burnt the cakes?
Alfred.
Correct, Andrew. In the armed forces, for what does the N stand in the abbreviation RNVR?
Naval.
Correct, Rachel. In human anatomy, the cranium is typically made up of how many bones, 8 or 80?
8.
Correct, Philip. If you were withdrawing £100 from the bank and asked for it in £5 notes, how many notes would you expect to receive?
20.
Correct, Sue.
Bank.
In which English county is the coastal resort of Minehead?
Somerset.
Correct, Lee. In music, with which song did the Archies have a 1969 UK #1 single?
I've no idea, sorry.
Sugar, Sugar, Carol. In food and drink, Riesling wines have what kind of flavour, sweet or dry?
Sweet.
Dry. Davina, what tea is a musical piece for 3 performers?
Sorry.
Trio. Andrew, in geography, San Diego is the capital of which South American country?
Colombia.
Chile. Rachel, what is the nickname of Stoke City Football Club on account of the area's traditional trade?
Don't know.
The Potters. Philip, in anatomy, what U is the biological name for the womb?
Uterus.
Correct, Sue.
Bank.
According to the highway code, what is the nearest you may park your vehicle to a junction, 10 metres or 25 metres?
10 metres.
Correct, Lee. In nature, the leaves of which plant make up the staple diet of the giant panda?
Bamboo.
Correct.
Bank.
Carol, which series of films features the horror character Freddy Krueger?
Elm Street. Nightmare on Elm
Except
Street.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Bank.
Davina, in pop music, what G is the name of the band featuring Damon Albarn, who snubbed their 2001 Mercury Awards nomination?
Sorry.
Gorillaz. Andrew, from which modern European language does the word armada derive?
Spanish.
Correct. Rachel. In TV, Richard Briers played Martin Bryce in the 1980s sitcom Ever Decreasing What?
Circles.
Correct. Philip.
Bank.
In UK geography, which county includes the district councils of Mansfield, Gedling and Sherwood?
Nottinghamshire.
Correct, Sue. Time is up. Not much evidence of the speed and knowledge of that first round, team. Again, a disappointing £390. Whose dream of winning has just turned into a nightmare? It's time to vote off the weakest link.
The statistics demonstrate that Philip is the strongest link as he got the most right answers. Davina, with the most wrong answers, is the weakest link. But will the team take these facts into account in their voting?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Davina.
Davina.
Carol.
Lee.
Davina.
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 Sue, why Davina?
Davina has been very strong up until the last round. She got 2 questions wrong in that round. It was a toss-up between her and Lee. I'm afraid she got the vote.
Carol, what was wrong with New Jersey that you came here?
Annie Love does strange things. Married a Geordie lad and moved here.
Why Davina?
Only because of the 2 questions wrong, Annie.
Rachel, what do you do?
I'm an alumni officer with King's College London.
What's that in English?
Right, what that means is I produce a magazine and a website for our former graduates to keep in touch with them.
Well, why'd you have a name in Latin then?
Well, the well-educated people that come from King's, they understand.
Why have you voted for Davina?
Because of the 2 questions wrong.
Okay. Davina, who apparently works in a bank. She's not going to be banking here anymore with 5 votes. You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
I think it's fair that I'm standing here. I didn't have a very good round at all. I think the votes were fair. I really don't want to see Philip winning today. I think he's quite arrogant and cocky. He's sucking up to Anne far too much and laughing far too loudly at her jokes.
Round 4, £1,710 banked. Out of potential prize money of £3,000. There are 6 of you left. We are taking another 10 seconds off your time. You now have only 2.5 minutes. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Philip. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Philip, in science, what colour does litmus paper turn in alkaline solutions, red or blue?
Blue.
Correct. Sue, which 1946 musical by Irving Berlin features the song There's No Business Like Show Business?
Don't know.
Annie, get your gun. Lee, in World War II, what D is the name of the German city destroyed by Allied bombing on the night of the 13th of February 1945?
Dachau, no.
Dresden. Carol, in nature, how many times a year does the equinox occur?
4.
No, 2. Andrew, which English king was killed by a stray arrow while hunting in the New Forest, William Rufus or Richard the Lionheart?
William Rufus.
Correct. Rachel, of which domestic animal is the Gordon Setter a breed?
Dog.
Correct. Philip, in British history, what D was the surname of the 19th century Prime Minister who was nicknamed Dizzy?
Disraeli.
Correct. Sue,
Bank.
what was the name of the 1960s model known as the Shrimp?
Twiggy.
No, Jean Shrimpton. Lee, the Isle of Man is directly north of which island off the coast of Wales?
No idea, sorry.
Anglesey. Carol, on TV, who created the puppet-based shows Thunderbirds and Stingray?
Jerry... Oh, I can't think of his name, Annie.
Jerry Anderson. Andrew, in Australian cuisine, what is a barramundi, a fish or a vegetable?
It's fish.
Correct. Rachel, in the 1990 film Postcards from the Edge, which actress starred as the daughter, Suzanne Vale?
Meryl Streep.
Correct. Philip,
Bank.
of which country was General Leopoldo Galtieri the president?
Argentina.
Correct.
Bank.
Sue, what cue is a game in which players attempt to throw rings onto upright pegs?
Don't know.
Quoits. Lee, which of these Andrew Lloyd Webber musicals was performed first? The Phantom of the Opera, Jesus Christ Superstar or Evita?
Jesus Christ Superstar.
Correct. Carol, which chemical element represented by the symbol SI is used in the manufacture of computer chips?
Silicon.
Correct. Andrew,
Bank.
which media tycoon did film actress Jane Fonda marry in 1991?
Ted Turner.
Correct. Rachel, in Hinduism, what B is the god who creates the universe anew in each world cycle?
Vishnu.
No, Brahma. Philip, in pop music, which famous New York jewelry store features in the title?
Tiffany's.
Time is up. You won £220 in that round. But who has become bemused and bewildered? Who needs to be retired? It's time to vote off the weakest link.
Statistically, Andrew is the strongest link. The weakest link is Sue, as she failed to answer a single question correctly. However, she did bank the most money for the team. Will this be enough to save her?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Sue.
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 Lee.
Lee.
Lee, just in case there's anyone watching who doesn't have a good memory, tell me who you voted for in the first round.
Who did I... Ian.
And tell me who you voted for in the next round.
Mike.
And tell me who you voted for in the round after that.
Davina.
And now you voted for Sue.
Yeah.
Why Sue?
Weakest link. The weakest link.
Carol, tell me who you voted for in the first round.
Ian.
And tell me who you voted for in the next round.
Mike, you're not hinting at something, Eddie.
And tell me who you voted for in the round after that.
Davina.
And now you voted for Sue.
Yes.
Why Sue?
Again, Sue had some questions wrong.
So you and Lee are really thinking alike?
There's no coercion there, Ian. Honestly.
Not at all.
Statistically, Sue was the worst player. With 4 votes, you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
To be voted off in the 4th round is not too bad. It wasn't the 1st or 2nd round, which I think would have been worse. I'd like to have seen Lee go off in this round. I think people up there are getting a bit tired of his smugness. I think he thinks he knows a lot more than he actually does.
Round 5. 5. Your total so far is £1,930 out of a possible 4,000. There are 5 of you left, another 10 seconds coming off the time. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Andrew. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Andrew, in literature, the author of the murders in the Rue Morgue was Edgar Allan who?
Poe.
Correct. Rachel, in botany, prickly, long-headed and opium are all types of which wildflower found in Britain?
Poppy.
Correct. Philip, in money, what S is a term normally used with particular reference to the monies or salary paid to a clergyman?
Pass.
Stipend. Lee, in geography, in which continent is the country of Laos?
South America.
Asia. Carol, which 1960 horror film includes the line, "My mother"? What is the phrase? She isn't quite herself today.
Pass, Annie.
Psycho. Andrew, in football, in the 1966 World Cup final, what colour shirts did England wear?
Red.
Correct. Rachel, in biology, microcephaly is the abnormal smallness of what in relation to the body, head or feet?
Head.
Correct. Philip, in politics, the Chancellor of West Germany from 1969 to 1974 was Willy who?
Brandt.
Correct. Lee, on TV, which US comedy featured the characters Wednesday, Pugsley and Thing?
The Addams Family.
Correct. Carol, when the UK currency was decimalised in 1971, the old sixpence was equal to how many new pence?
Annie, I didn't know what that...
2.5. Andrew, what is the capital city of Malta?
St Mary's.
Valletta. Rachel, in which art gallery is the Mona Lisa exhibited?
The Louvre.
Correct. Philip.
Bank.
Oscar Wilde wrote the ballad of which jail?
Reading.
Correct. Lee, in the 1997 film The Saint, which character was played by Val Kilmer?
The Saint.
I'll accept The Saint or Simon Templar. Carol, what P is the name of the island in the South Pacific settled in 1790 by the mutineers from HMS Bounty?
Pictinic or... No, sorry, Annie.
Pitcairn Island. Andrew, which celestial body, other than the Earth and the Moon, brings about the changes of the tides?
The sun.
Correct. Rachel, according to the nursery rhyme, on what was Humpty Dumpty sitting before he had his great fall?
A wall.
Correct. Philip.
Bank.
In motoring, for what does the abbreviation MPH stand?
Miles per hour.
Correct. Lee,
Bank.
which is the second largest continent on Earth by area?
Asia.
Correct answer is Africa, and you have truly gone down the drain. Having got rid of 4 allegedly weaker links, you only in that round banked £90, whose 15 minutes of fame is almost up. It's time to vote off the weakest link.
Rachel is the strongest link for the second time in the game. Carol is the weakest link, also for the second time. Can she survive another vote?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Carol.
Lee.
Carol.
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 Rachel, what are you good at?
Lots of things, Anne. Good at my job. Good at running.
You're good at running?
Well, I'm okay at running, yeah.
Are you? What do you have to do to be good at running?
One foot in front of the other.
Oh, that's an enormous talent. Why do you want to get rid of Carol?
Because Carol lost us quite a bit of money when she didn't bank before she didn't get her question right.
How's it going for you, Philip?
Not too bad, Anne. Only 2 questions wrong in the whole game. I'm feeling pretty smug.
What do you do when you're not feeling smug?
I've got a lot of interests. I'm interested in true crime, English history. Ghosts is a very big one because that's what my tour guide is on.
Do your visitors see much?
They see me waving my arms around and being very silly. It's a living.
Why Carol?
Well, I gave Carol benefit of the doubt to start with. Unfortunately, that was a bad round, and as Rachel has said, that time Carol had the opportunity to bank quite a sum of money and lost it.
Well, Carol from New Jersey, with 4 votes, you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
This round, I was definitely the weakest link. If I could have voted for myself, I would have done. I think that Rachel will be voted off next because I think the guys will have a little get-together in their minds and try and get it between the 3 of them.
Round 6, you've won £2,020 so far out of a possible 5,000. There are 4 of you left. We are taking another 10 seconds off your time. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Rachel. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Rachel, in pop music, which US boy band had a 1990 UK #1 single with Hangin' Tough?
New Kids on the Block.
Correct. Philip. In UK politics, which former Labour Prime Minister published his memoirs Time and Chance in 1987?
James Callaghan.
Correct. Lee. In maths, what is the square root of 225?
25.
15.
Oh.
Andrew. In the 1970s TV sitcom Fawlty Towers, Basil Fawlty was played by John who?
Cleese.
Correct. Rachel. In music, which composer wrote the Planet Suite?
Holst.
Correct. Philip. What is the first name of either parent of fashion designer Jasper Conran?
Terence.
Correct. Lee. Which letter of the alphabet was the scarlet letter which had to be worn by women convicted of adultery in New England Puritan communities?
A.
Correct. Andrew.
Bank.
First Blood was the first film in which Sylvester Stallone played which character?
Rambo.
Correct. Rachel. The house of the artist Rembrandt is now a museum in which Dutch city?
Amsterdam.
Correct. Philip. How many hours does it take the hour hand of a standard clock to travel through 180 degrees?
6.
Correct. Lee. Which major North American river passes through Minneapolis, St. Louis and Memphis before draining into the Gulf of Mexico?
The Hudson.
No, the Mississippi. Andrew. Which football club defeated their North London rivals Spurs in one of the 2001 FA Cup semi-finals?
Arsenal.
Correct. Rachel.
Bank.
The West End musical co-written by the Pet Shop Boys is called Closer to What?
Heaven.
Correct. Philip. In maths, what is 3/4 of 24 million?
18 million.
Correct. Lee. In medicine, the name for which condition is derived from the French word for yellow?
Jaundice.
Correct. Andrew.
Bank.
In pop music, the title of the 1975 UK #1 single by Johnny Nash was Tears on My What?
Pillow.
Correct. Rachel. In history, who led the Chinese communists on their long march in the 1930s?
Chairman Mao.
Correct. Philip.
Bank.
Which actor played the Scottish nanny Mrs. Doubtfire in the 1993 film
Robin
The Same
Williams.
Name? Correct. Time's up. You did bank in time. And in total, you put into your kitty £390. But who is looking less fast and less knowledgeable than the others? Who will slow you down and cost you money in the rounds to come? It's time to vote off the weakest link.
The weakest link is Lee, as he got most of his answers wrong. The strongest link statistically is Philip. But what will the team decide?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Philip.
Lee.
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 Rachel, who's talented at running. Why Lee?
Well, he's a bright lad, but he had a very bad round and got a lot of questions wrong.
Are you talented at anything, Andrew?
I'm talented at many things, Anne. But I can't mention them on daytime TV.
Why Lee?
Lee, no money to bank. Every time I was calling bank, there was no money there.
Yes, he was the only one in that last round who answered any questions incorrectly. You are the weakest link, Lee. Goodbye.
So we voted off so close to the final. Obviously, it is a bit of a letdown to myself. I think Philip should be the next to go because he is a bit of a know-it-all.
Round 7 so far, you've won £2,410 out of a possible 6,000. There are 3 of you left. We are taking another 10 seconds off your time. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Philip. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Philip, in which sport is Chris Boardman a leading British figure?
Cricket.
Cycling. Andrew. In the animal kingdom, mandarin and ruddy are species of which bird?
No idea.
Duck. Rachel. The standby fire engines used in the past by the army when the fire service goes on strike are known as green what?
Goddesses.
Correct. Philip.
Bank.
In the British TV sitcom Red Dwarf, which character was played by Craig Charles?
Pass.
Lister. Andrew. In winter sport, which article of equipment incorporates a shovel, waist and tail?
Toboggan.
Ski. Rachel. In popular music, which singer and comedy partner of Jerry Lewis was born Dino Paul Crecchetti in the USA in 1917?
Dean Martin.
Correct. Philip. Which Danish author wrote the fairy tale The Ugly Duckling?
Hans Christian Andersen.
Correct. Andrew.
Bang.
In maths, what is 9 squared?
981.
81. Rachel. What's the official language of the Republic of Yemen?
Arabic.
Correct. Philip.
Bang.
In music, Howard Blake composed the score for which 1982 animated children's TV film often shown at Christmas?
Wind in the Willows.
The Snowman. Andrew. Which traditional English measure of land is equal to 4,840 square yards?
Hectare.
No, an acre. Rachel. On TV, Felicity Kendall played Barbara in which 1970s British sitcom?
The Good Life.
Correct. Philip.
Bank.
According to the saying, if a cat has lost 3 lives, how many does it have left?
6.
Correct. Andrew. Which musical features the song Edelweiss?
Sound of Music.
Correct. Rachel. In human biology, what is the common name given to the vessel through which tears pass from the eye?
Duct.
Correct. Philip.
Bank.
In which European country is the city of Innsbruck?
Austria.
Correct. Andrew. The Beaufort scale is used to measure the strength of what?
Wind.
Correct.
Bank.
Rachel. In literature, the novel... Time's up. £260 you put in the kitty. Now in round 8 you get the chance to treble what you bank, which means in the next round potentially there's £3,000 to be won. The question is, who do you need to get rid of? Who is costing you money? Please have the courage to vote off the weakest link.
With every answer right, Rachel is the strongest link for the 3rd time in the game. The weakest link is Andrew, as he got the most wrong answers. But at this crucial stage of the game, which way will the team vote?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Philip.
Philip.
Andrew.
Rachel, what's upsetting you about Philip?
Nothing's upset me. I noticed both of them got a lot of questions wrong and I just plumped for Philip.
Andrew,
Still here.
why Philip?
Rachel was definitely the strongest link, and Philip had a bad day.
Did you think he was statistically the worst player?
Over the course of the game, I wasn't the weakest.
In that last round, you were certainly.
That was my bad round. You're allowed 1.
But it's votes that count. Philip, with 2 votes, you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
There is a small amount of dignity in being voted off when you weren't the weakest link. At least you don't have to leave with your tail between your legs. But it was very annoying. I really thought I'd nearly got there. And in spite of what they may say, I feel at the end it was tactical voting.
Round 8. So far, you've won £2,670 out of a possible £7,000. Andrew and Rachel, just 2 of you left, and this time you have 90 seconds. But whatever you win in this round will be trebled and added to your total to make up your final prize money. So £3,000 is at stake in this round. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Rachel. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Rachel, what term is used in the West to mean an astronaut from the former Soviet Union?
Cosmonaut.
Correct. Andrew. Which famous race first took place at the Henley Reach in 1829?
The regatta.
No, the Oxford and Cambridge boat race. Rachel, in geography, Fort Augustus stands at the southern end of which famous Scottish loch?
Lomond.
No, Ness. Andrew, in aviation history, the pilot of the Spirit of St. Louis, who made the first solo flight across the Atlantic in 1927, was Charles who?
Lindbergh.
Correct. Rachel, in music, Verdi's opera Falstaff is largely based on which Shakespeare comedy?
Twelfth Night.
No, The Merry Wives of Windsor. Andrew, in money, a phrase that features on every American coin and paper note is "In God we what?"
Trust.
Correct. Rachel, in literature, apart from English, in which other language did the Irish playwright Samuel Beckett write his work?
Gaelic.
French. Andrew, in which decade did the first successful ascent of Mount Everest take place?
50s.
Correct. Rachel, the name of which aromatic herb of the mint family, often used in Italian cooking, also means wise or a wise person?
Time.
Sage. Andrew, in science, which metal is principally alloyed with zinc to produce brass?
Nickel.
Copper. Rachel, what sort of farm animal were the 1950s puppets Pinky and Perky?
Pigs.
Correct, Andrew.
Bank.
In the TV show Hawaii Five-0, what was Detective Steve McGarrett's catchphrase when arresting a criminal? Time's up. Bookham Dano was the correct answer. And for the two finalists, that was an embarrassingly shocking result. You managed to bank just £20, which will treble and add to the winnings from the previous rounds. That means prize money today of £2,730. But of course, only one of you can take that money away, and now you will be playing against each other head to head. I'll ask alternate questions, best of 5. Whoever answers the most correctly wins. It's as simple as that. So, Andrew and Rachel, for £2,730, let's play the weakest link. Andrew, as the strongest link in the last round, you have the choice of who goes first.
I'll go first, please, Anne.
Andrew, in UK history, which royal house succeeded the Tudors?
Plantagenet.
No, the correct answer is the Stuarts. Rachel, in maths, how many equal sectors has a circular pie been sliced into if the internal angle at the point of each sector is 60 degrees?
6.
That is the correct answer. Andrew, in the 1980 film The Elephant Man, what was the name of the title character played by John Hurt?
John Merrick.
That is the correct answer. Rachel, which three-letter word is both a type of bird and a European monetary acronym?
Emu.
That is the correct answer. Andrew, originally called How Does Your Garden Grow, what is the name of BBC Radio 4's long-running gardening programme?
Gardener's Question Time.
That is the correct answer. Rachel, in theatre, Martine McCutcheon played which character in the musical My Fair Lady during 2001?
Can't remember.
No, the correct answer is Eliza Doolittle. Andrew, in cricket, which West Midlands county uses a bear and ragged staff for its badge?
Warwickshire.
That is the correct answer. Rachel, in telecommunications since April 2001, all UK premium rate numbers have begun with which two digits?
09.
That is the correct answer. Andrew, which expression of French origin literally translates as blank paper?
Papier-mâché.
No, the correct answer is carte blanche. Rachel, if you answer this question correctly, you have won. So for £2,730. Which novel by E.M. Forster depicts society in India under the British Raj?
A Passage to India.
That is the correct answer. That means, Rachel, you are today's strongest link, and you go away with £2,730. Andrew, you leave with nothing. Join us again for the weakest link.
I thought that I would win, but then I got down to the last three with Philip and Rachel, and I thought these guys are too good.
I think I am a worthy winner, actually. I think I did get the most questions right out of anyone. There's a lot of luck, but I am a worthy winner.
If I'd got Rachel's questions, I would have got them, and I would have won. They were so easy, some of them. The Eliza Doolittle one, please, I was screaming the answer out in my head.
Firefighters earn their name next on BBC Two on Real Rescues.
Your task is to go out and procure items that are going to be used in an opera.
Do you know what a candle brum is?
No, I don't.
Why should I give you a discount? No.
Come back! That's actually ridiculous.
You have completely messed it up. You're fired.
Young Apprentice continues Thursday at 8 on BBC One and BBC One HD.
So what do Einstein, GPS navigation, bikes, sex, drugs, rock and roll, photocopiers, black holes, evolution, deoxyribonucleic acid have in common? No? To find out, watch my new show where we'll be turning some well-known subjects inside out so we can get a good old peek inside. Come on, join the club.
Dara O'Brien's Science Club. The brand new series continues tomorrow at 9 on BBC Two.
Railway posters could send bidders off on a wild track for Flog It in 45 minutes. First, BBC Two's right in the thick of it with the emergency services.
Today on Real Rescues, why a fire starting in someone else's house could burn your own house down. Crews from 5 fire stations fight desperately to save a row of terraced houses.
Jet, run out round the back, ASAP.
No ropes, no safety harness. The only thing to break free climber Ryan's fall is solid rock.
Ryan's been quite lucky actually. He's fallen best part of 20 to 30 foot, but he's broken his wrist and his ankle.
Hello, here on Real Rescues we see how the emergency services respond to 999 calls. We're out on the road with crews and in here with the people who actually answer the calls.
And today it's Charlie 1. That's what Hampshire Police call this high-tech control room. Let's speak to the person in charge. It's Phil Jones today. Hi there, Phil.
Hi.
I want to talk to you about a rescue that